Hey, this is Matt once again. Welcome back to another video. And this is a paid request for Jonathan. I believe this is the last request Jonathan sent. I apologize for the lateness, but I'm trying to get to these as soon as I can. I'll try to email him once this is up to let him know that all the requests he sent should be up by now. But thank you for your generosity. Thank you for your kindness. I hope you enjoy. And same with everyone else there. Thank you so much. As I'm getting ready to do what was the paid request for, which is a commentary on WarGames, the 1983 film starring the hit-and-run killer Matthew Broderick, which he did hit and run and kill some people and got away with it. So I liked him as an actor, but Matthew Broderick is a pretty piece of shit human being, in my opinion. Yeah, I get it might have been an accident, but the fact that, he got away with it, and, I would have been like, turn myself in, let me do some time, but I mean, that's just me. If I did that, if I was that much of an idiot, but sorry, that's, we'll get to that, I'm sure. But anyway, this is a paid request for Jonathan. If anyone wants to request any type of videos, reviews, re-reviews, random thoughts, streams, commentaries, video game playthrough for an hour, a full playthrough, tier list ranking, whatever the case, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal. Do have a CashApp as well. The links are down below in the info box, and I will get to it as soon as I possibly can. For those who sent them, thank you. I do appreciate it. Salute. So yeah, we are paused at the, well, I'm paused at the beginning. I will count down for those who want to follow along. 3, 2, 1, pressing play. And we have the MGM, which, I mean, I would say pretty much they're no longer around. I mean, they're with like Amazon, United Artists. I mean, speaking of a company that's really not a whole lot around anymore. I know Heaven's Gate really hurt that company a lot. Like, tremendously. But yeah, WarGames came out in 1983, the year I was born. Was a surprise hit. It was definitely a movie ahead of its time in terms of the idea of hackers and how it deals with computers, the dangers of that. Now, one of the guys here is Michael Madson, who's Sally. Oh yeah, and this guy with the glasses, he was the dad in the Blob remake. In the Blob remake, where he was the guy who worked at the pharmacy, and the guy, well, someone bought the condoms, and he's like, fine, and then he sees it was really the other friend who wanted the condoms, but the guy's with his daughter, and he looks up, and he looks at the guy and goes, ribbed. So he was in the Blob remake, that guy with the glasses. Cannot believe I cannot remember his damn name. This other guy I recognize too, he was in The Rock. He was sort of the antagonist going against Sean Connery, not wanting him to get out of jail, but kind of having to. But yeah, Michael Madsen, may he rest in... Yeah, Art LaFleur. Art LaFleur was the guy with the glasses. He was, sadly, passed away, but yeah, he was in the Blah remake. He played Babe Ruth in The Fantasy and The Sandlot. So again, this guy on the left here is Michael Madsen. He's the guy that's going to pull the gun on the other guy and say, you better pull the trigger. I mean, you better do it or I'm going to pull the trigger. Rest in peace to Michael Madsen. Always liked him as an actor. He was good in Tarantino films like Reservoir Dogs and Kill Bill Volume 2. Very young Michael Madsen. This was definitely one of his first films. was it his first? I guess All Hope, 1982, and then this in 1983, Michael Madsen. And then he did Thelma and Louise, The Doors, Reservoir Dogs, Free Willy. He was the dad. He was in Wyatt Earp. Species, my favorite role of his is in Species as Preston Lennox. Danny Brasco he was in. Species 2, Sally. Die Another Day, the James Bond film. So, great to have Michael Madsen. Rest in peace to him. A great actor. The other guy, his name is John Spencer. This guy here, he's going to be hesitant on pushing the button, and then Michael Madsen's going to pull a gun on him. And then this is what's going to lead to the Whopper computer, so there's no hesitance, because they think human like this will have a bit of hesitance on going with the execution of this order. But yeah, John Spencer, he was in The Rock. He played the FBI director Womack, who hated Sean Connery's character. But The Rock, he was also in Copland. He was in The Negotiator. He was in Black Rain as a captain. He was in Sea of Love with Al Pacino. Yeah, pretty much this goes into the procedure of getting these nukes out there, and again, well, I don't know why I'm narrating. If you're, well, who knows? Some people may not be watching on. They may watch this as just an audio thing. But John Spencer is hesitating. Michael Madsen doesn't like that, and he's going to pull a gun and says, "You better do it." I guess I'll talk about this now, because I mentioned earlier with Matthew Broderick. A few years later, in 1987, Matthew Broderick, the star of this, also Ferris Bueller's Day Off, which I enjoy, Godzilla 1998, I actually enjoy that film, The Cable Guy. In 1987, him and Jennifer Grey, yes, the same Jennifer Grey who was in Dirty Dancing, she was in the original Red Dawn, they were in Northern Ireland. Matthew Broderick was driving. I forget if he was, I forget what, if he was sleepy, drunk, I don't remember. But he collided with the car of Anna and her mother Margaret, killing both women. Broderick was severely injured and suffered amnesia, while Jennifer Grey was the only conscious survivor. The brother and son of the deceased women forgave Broderick. Grey opened up about that in her memoir Out of the Corner. Oh, man. And I know Matthew Broderick was injured, but still, he turned onto the wrong lane and crashed headfirst to an oncoming valet. So it was his fault. He turned into the wrong lane. It wasn't their fault. He turned into the wrong lane. He fucked up. And I get it's an accident, but the fact that, like I said, I get that it was an accident, but the fact that he got away with it and got really no pun. I mean, I guess you say the punishment was the injuries he sustained, but still, man. I mean, like I said, I get that it was an accident, but still, you still fucked up. He fucked up badly, and I'm sorry, the fact that you don't, I mean, I get that you were injured, but Okay, let me ask you something. If he was not a famous actor, would he have not been prostituted in some way? He would have. Let's be honest. He would have. He would have been prostituted in some way, in some fashion, in some form. He just would have. And I don't like that double standard. I don't. I always hate that double standard. That a famous person and a regular person can do the same thing or the same crime or the same mistake or the same issue, but because someone's famous, they get slapped on the wrist, but this person, they get hauled off to jail. Which is ironic, Wesley Sty to be in jail for years for tax evasion, but okay, it's not murder, but at least manslaughter, accidental, how you want to put it, involuntary manslaughter. That's still something, and you did nothing. Maybe that's just me. Just me being silly, I guess. It just like, I just gotta let her go. I know some people disagree and go, oh, some people disagree and say don't beat up on Matthew Broderick that way. That's fine. That's fine. We have different mindsets. Call me unfair. That's fine. It just how I feel. Just how I feel. I think at the very least he should have gotten some kind of penance. Anything, man. That's just me, though, I guess. So, moving along from that, we got Dabney Coleman here. Great character actor. He was in 9 to 5. He was in this underrated film called Short Time that sadly doesn't have much of a physical release. You can find like VHS rips. Short Time, he played a cop, and because of he got the wrong papers, the doctors got the wrong papers, they think he's dying and they tell him he's dying. And then since he's a cop, apparently on the forms it says his family only gets the money if he dies in the line of duty. So then he goes to these dangerous situations to hopefully die during it, but then he becomes like this big hero time and time again. And Short Time is a fun movie. Deserves a physical release. And Dabney Coleman is one of my favorite roles of his, and he's good, other than like Hot to Trot. He's good in pretty much any role. Now the other guy, on the other end, the one we're looking at that's on the right, that is Barry Corbin. I'm doing this because I'm bad with names. What's his name? Yeah, Barry Corbin. He was on the TV show Northern Exposure for quite a few years. I remember him as the cop, the former sheriff in Critters 2, the main course, because he has my favorite line in the movie. I like Critters 2. This town voted me in a land... No, wait a second. This town voted me out in a landslide. This town can kiss my ass. But he goes in and gets his sit shoes and kills a couple critters, a couple krites. Pretty badass. So I loved him in Critters 2. He was in Who's Harry Crumb with John Candy. He was in Solo. He was one of the bad guys, the generals in Solo, the film with Mario Van Peebles from the 90s. Trying to see what else he's done. Some of his later stuff I don't recognize. He was in Killers of the Flower Moon, I guess. Career Opportunities, I forgot about that. My Science Project. In Which Way You Can. So. Oh, he's still with us. That's cool. He's still... I think he's still with us. Right? Yeah, it looks like he's still with us. That's good. I think. Yeah. That's what it says here. Cool. Anyway. Now, of course, we're showing about a bit of NORAD and this computer, the Whopper. Which, I mean, this is even going to be more apparent with how much taught they speak of AI. Every day, more and more talk about how businesses are going to fire people because they're going to use AI for certain operations. On a side note, here's the thing about that. AI is not where it's at right now. Number one, we should not result. It's one thing to have fun with it for simple things, drawings and little videos, funny videos. But it's like every tool. You have to use it properly. It's like the computer, the internet. You have to use it properly. But with any tool, it would eventually be used as a weapon. It will eventually be used as a negative, to attack, to obfuscate, to impersonate. And also, it's not where it's at. Even if you try and do a simple drawing, you do put a prompt in and it will screw up and not be what you feel like, not be what you think about, and you tell issues. This is a little bit, this part is a little bit. It's not where it's at. It's not where they think it's at. So to rely on that is a mistake. Is a mistake, and it's just going to cause a lot of potential issues. Because with a human, you can actually talk to, reason, discuss, and really have a back and forth conversation. You can't do that with an AI computer. At least not yet. Arcades. I love the arcades. I miss the arcades. Now is he playing Galaga? Okay. I remember reading a story that apparently they sent him, Matthew Broderick, Galatian and Galaga, because they wanted him to get good at this for scenes like this. Oh, Tron. Funny. Oh, there you go. There's Tron. Which actually came... Didn't that come out, I think, the year before this, 82. So let's see Tron back there. The arcade game. But yeah, the old school arcade... I can't find arcades anymore. Sadly. I know they're still around if you're in big cities. But... I would love to go to an arcade again. I know you can find all these, you know, on emulators and such, and it's fine, but it's being in that environment. It's just a different experience. It's like being in a video store, because I worked in a video store. It's just different. It's just a different feeling. It's just not the same of doing it at home. Now we have Ally Sheedy here. Ally Sheedy, of course, she... Breakfast Club is and the short... I would say Breakfast Club and Short Circuit are probably the two that people would recognize her from. And I enjoy both of them. She's the kooky lady in the Breakfast Club. And Short Circuit, she's the human who Johnny Five interacts with. And I like both those movies. Both of those movies, I think, are good for what they are. Always enjoyed them. I'm listening to... This is a fun reply. About asexual. Your wife? Now, apparently, if you listen to that laugh, apparently... they sound a bit older. It's because, this is what they say, the crew did not know that line was coming and they laughed. And so John Badham said, let's keep that. Let's keep that laughter. So that's why if you listen to the laugh when he says asexual, or I mean he says your wife, it sounds like older people laughing because it was the crew laughing. That's apparently what's happened. Ah, the password. Very bad place to keep that, man. Where anybody could see it. Just not the best place. Unless... But yeah, it's one of those things where hacking, because that's what he is a hacker, very new thing around this time. I mean, you think about how antiquated computers were at this time. You see like how old the computers are and how just antique they are with what's on the screen, where it's just green text and all these prompts you got to do. It's so different from the world of today of computers. It's weird how in the span of my life, because I was born the year this came out, in the span of my life, how to see, like I'm watching this movie on a computer screen. And to go and see like how you do all these complicated things with your laptop computer, and you go on to YouTube and go to all these websites and all this other stuff, which is such a new world compared to this era. Now, I guess I should mention one of the things about this film was the original director of this film was Martin Brest. Martin Brest would go on to direct Beverly Hills Cop. So what happened was Martin Brest got, I don't know, like a week or like they got a bit into the shooting and he got fired. Apparently the studio was not liking what he was doing because they felt, actually, you know what, let me put the subtitles on. Yeah, I got the subtitles on, so I just, one of the things is, I'll put this, it's just, you know, it's Texas, it's so damn hot to have those headphones on. I got this, I can understand what's going on with the subtitles. But they thought it was too dark. They thought what Martin Brest was doing was making a darker movie, like a spy espionage type of movie. And they wanted a more, I think, audience-friendly movie, a movie that was a bit more fun, a movie that was a bit more, a little bit more humor and stuff. So what happened was they got John Badham. Now, John Badham, and see, like this here, ironically enough, he would do the same thing in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Now, the computers we had at school, everything was green, but here we see it's blue. But yeah, when we had computers, it was pretty much this antiquated, but it was like green lettering. And again, it's funny how a few years later, Ferris Bueller's Day Off, he was a hacker that changed his grades. So, interesting. And of course, interesting that was a John Hughes production, just like Ally Sheedy. She would go into a John Hughes production with The Breakfast Club. So they both would go on to work with John Hughes, Breakfast Club, Ferris Bueller's Day Off. This had hacking, just like Ferris Bueller had hacking. Go figure. And John Badham, I liked as a director. When I looked at his filmography, there's a lot of films he's done. Like, he's underrated. I would say he's underrated as a director. Because I looked at Saturday Night Fever, is a good one with John Travolta. I love Blue Thunder. I know some people find the film boring. I highly disagree. You have really good helicopter action sequences. You got Roy Scheider. You got Malcolm McDowell, Daniel Stern. Really do like Blue Thunder, that's a solid one. Stakeout with Richard Dreyfuss and Emilio Estevez, to me that's a classic. Still not on Blu-ray, Sally. No Blu-ray. The sequel's on Blu-ray, but not the first one. So, but yeah, Blue Thunder, Stakeout, Short Circuit, worked with Ally Sheedy again. Short Circuit I enjoy. That and the sequel, but I like the first one. And then The Hard Way with Michael J. Fox, that's a really good one. Actually, I want to see, what all has John Badham do? Or what all has he done? Saturday Night Fever, Dracula, I vaguely remember. I love Blue Thunder. Really enjoy WarGames. Short Circuit, Stakeout. Bird on a Wire is fun. The Hard Way with Michael J. Fox and, what was it, James Woods. That's a really good one. I mean, I'm not a fan of Another Stakeout. I think that was a really lame sequel. Drop Zone, I thought was... I could watch parts of it, but I did find it kind of disappointing. Compared to, Wesley Snipes, having done, Demolition Man and all sorts of stuff. Yeah, Drop Zone was just disappointing. Nick of Time, I always thought the film could have been better. Like, it's okay. I think Nick of Time's okay. I like the idea of trying to be in real time, but I don't know if, okay, if that film was directed by Brian De Palma. If you get Brian De Palma to direct that film, I think you would have had something a bit more special. Just the way that should have been filmed and what the camera work should have been and that type of thriller aspect, I don't think that's John Badham's wheelhouse. I just don't. He seems to be a guy that's more comfortable when you'd have a bit of fun, like this one with Matthew Broderick and the interactions he has with Ally Sheedy and stuff like that. Yeah, Stakeout with the humor, Short Circuit, Bird on a Wire, The Hard Way. When you have that humor mixed in, it seems like that's more of the comfortableness that John Badham. Even Blue Thunder. Like, Blue Thunder is really good, but then you have, like, the Malcolm McDowell, Catch You Later, and Daniel Stern, his character. You have some fun bits of that, so... And looks like Incognito, 1997, with Jason Patrick was the last film he did. So. Take that for you, Will. God, it makes you want to play Gallagher right now. So this is an old school thing the Hackers would do. See, like this banter that they're having with each other, that wasn't really part of the Martin Brest version. It was much more super serious. And John Badham had talked about how when he met with Matthew Broderick and Ally Sheedy, they were kind of stiff and like super serious because there was supposed to be that more darker tone. And then John Badham had to like get them loosened up and goes, okay, you know what? Let's make a run. Like we're gonna race, and whoever loses the race has to sing in front of the crew. And so John Badham lost the race, and he sang in front of the crew, and it just got people calm down. Because you're supposed to be in this intense movie that's supposed to be at first. Your director gets fired, and you think, well, damn, if the director got fired, am I next? Is that person next? And so John Badham came in to diffuse the situation, and it worked for the best, because he got good performances out of these actors, made a good film, became a box office hit. I mean, this cost $12 million apparently, and it made, it says, I want to make sure this number's right. $79 million in the U.S. So, almost $80 million. On a $12 million budget, almost $80 million. I think that was in the top 10 box office of the year. So, and it got nominated for Oscars for Best Original Screenplay, Best Cinematography, and Best Sound. That's interesting. This got nominated for Best Original Screenplay, but I guess, you know, again, this idea was ahead of its time. So then he thinks these are new games, like, you know, Galaga type of games. But they're war games, hence the title. War games. Global thermonuclear war. Kind of funny to see poker and chess. That's too biotoxic and thermonuclear. Now, Matthew Broderick, he was in Matt's Duty Returns, which I don't even know if I've seen that movie. I don't think I ever did. So he did this film. He was in a film called 1918, Lady Hawk, then Ferris Bueller's Day Off. Project X, I actually do rather like. Oh, here's Eddie Deason with the glasses. He has a very unique voice. And with that, wow, where did you get this? He did. Like, if you know his voice, you know his voice. That's Eddie Deason. He was in Grease, Grease 2, Surf 2, Teenage Exorcist, Beverly Hills Vamp. He was on the Ferris wheel in 1941. He was in Critters 2. And one of the bounty hunters almost looked like him. And the character Charlie, Don Opper's like, no, you don't want to look like him. No. Now this guy here who plays Jim, it's Maury Chaykin. The guy with the beard and stuff. I knew I recognized him. Sadly, he passed away in 2010, which is too bad. Mr. Potato Head! Mr. Potato Head! So this guy here who's talking, he was in Of Unknown Origin, which also came out this year, which I really enjoy. To me, that's a very underrated film with Peter Weller. He was in Meatballs 3. He was in Iron Eagle 2. He was in Twins. Arnold Schwarzenegger film Twins. He was in My Cousin Vinny. He was in Cutthroat Island. Gone Fishing, Mouse Hunt, Entrapment with Sean Connery. So he's in a decent amount of movies. Now the music is by Arthur B. Rubinstein, who passed away 2018, sadly. And he did a lot of musical scores. He did... Actually, I want to get a better list than this. That's right. I want to get a better list. He was a composer. He worked with this, John Badham a number of times. He was a composer on Nick of Time. Stakeout, which is a good... I really like the score to Stakeout. The Hard Way. So he definitely kept working with John Badham. The Best Attempts of Caruso and Robin Williams. Yeah, I would say the stuff we did John Badham is the ones I recognize. So he did the score to Blue Thunder, which I thought was a really good score. Stakeout, that's another really good score. The Hard Way. So... What's up, dog? So I'm just seeing there's a film here, a TV movie called Murder in Space with Wilford Brimley and Michael Ironside. Set in the not-too-distant future, the crew of an international space station are set to return to Earth until someone starts killing the other crew members. Interesting. Teach yourself and learn how to learn. So in other words, pretty much artificial intelligence in a way. Which is what we gotta be worried about today. Because, okay, these companies are using AI. What if the military starts doing it? And then what if the AI is just like, you know what? Let's send a missile. Because, it'd be this way to do it or that way to do it. I mean, we've done sci-fi films about this, but we don't learn. We don't learn. No one ever fucking learns. Why no one learns, I don't know. Then don't ask me why nobody ever learns. Josh, the name of the kid. There you go. Bullseye. Now, I know there was a sequel to this, like decades later, called like WarGames 2, The Dead Code or something. Don't ask me why. I mean, they had a name. They said, let's make a film. And anyone who has seen or heard of the first film, they're thinking people will see this out of curiosity. That might have been around the time that movie Eidolon Eye was coming out, because I know the director of Eidolon Eye mentioned WarGames was an inspiration for Eidolon Eye. Because that had an AI computer in the military, much like the Whopper Joshua had. And you had, these young people dealing with this, just like Shia LaBeouf in that movie. I like Eidolon Eye. I think Eidolon Eye is a bit of an underrated film. I do like the voice they have for the computer. It has the right tone. Shall we play a game? Like they have the right listen, the right tone to it all. It's kind of this. I mean, it's weird laugh because like we know what it's like. They don't know what they're doing, but we know what they're doing. Is as one of those things that you just. What's sad is that something like this. Some may label. I mean, especially at the time, some may label it more fantasy, but it's really not as fantastical. I think that's the scary thing of it all, is that this stuff could happen. You get a hacker, and nowadays, like if you use AI, if you use deception, if you use any number of things, people could believe in whatever. I mean, I know this means this is nothing in comparison to anything, but okay, that Nightmare on Elm Street box set that's coming out. Some guy just made a fake, obviously a fake cover, and so many people made videos and lost their mind and talked about in streams as if it was real, and they were tricked over a fake AI image that's just of a box set, which at the end of the day, is inconsequential. But imagine if it was something much more serious, where something much more dangerous. Tab. a lot of these older stuff, these movies have the tab. I mean, I guess tab is probably just cola, but yeah, I'm surprised with how many '80s things that for that time where it was everything that was old is new again, the retro '80s, that they didn't bring back tab. Like, for limited time, here's tab, just for like people who are like the collectors, that type of stuff. I'm a bit surprised that they never tried to bring back tab. I do wonder, like, what. So I'm just watching this stuff, and yeah, this this could possibly happen. Okay, Ma, we'll be there in a minute. I think I remember hearing on her commentary and stuff that she kind of did that, like, on the spur of the moment, where he's going by and she traps his legs between her legs, and kind of his reaction was kind of genuine. I mean, this is what, from what I understand, that was, again, a genuine reaction. That reminds me of Doctor Strangelove when he says, "Don't be running in here. Someone could get hurt." And like the pretty much the war room, where a shitload of people could get hurt because of some buttons pressed. Sorry, I'm silent. I'm listening to some of the dialogue. Would they let this story get out? That's what I'm wondering. Like, it's on the TV. Would they have allowed this story to get out? Or it makes you wonder who leaked this story. Because that seems like something they would want to keep hush hush quiet. That they were this close to a nuclear war because of a computer malfunction. That seems like we need to keep that hush hush to avoid a panic. So is that like someone? Was there a leak? 'Cause I can't imagine they just outright fucking admit that and. I mean, hell, if you went through that, it'd be like, don't even turn computer on for a month. Yeah, it's like, don't even turn on the computer for a month. Yeah, throw as much of that shit away as possible. Yeah, sorry I'm not saying that. Like, it's been a while since I've seen this, so I'm kind of just paying attention to the movie. Uh-oh. You know what it is. There's no way to just tell it, cancel the game, forfeit the game, just stop the game, don't play anymore, quit. I want to change games. It'd be worth a try. Say, stop the game, no more in the game. I want to play chess instead, like that type of game. At least to try it out, and then if it says no, once it starts, we cannot stop, or something else to that effect. But I would say at least try. Like, what if he said cancel the game? What would it say, or stuff of that nature? Damn, look at those prices. Right at the 7-Eleven. Oh, he's being followed, being watched. So he did going to 7-Eleven. That's what he did getting the big gulp. You know, that's the funny thing is that I see 7-Eleven a lot in movies. I've never been to a 7-Eleven. Never been to one. When I grew up in Iowa, and the nearest place to really get stuff and groceries was Fairmont, Minnesota, they had no 7-Elevens. When I went to like the where I went, like where I lived, just there was never a 7-Eleven near. There were gas stations nearby, but not a 7-Eleven. So, but I would see these in movies like Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, this film. But yeah, no 7-Elevens. Oh, there's a McDonald's back there. Let's go to McDonald's. Let's go to Mickey D's. What's the McDonald's now? God damn it, some McDonald's. Man, I am in the mood for McDonald's now. I really am in the mood for McDonald's. The McDonald's today. Yeah, a hell of a trick to pull on someone. I'm gonna go blow us up. No, I'm just kidding. What a dick. What a fucking dick. Guess in a way, I mean, in a way, Matthew Broderick's character reminds me of, what was that guy, Snowden? Was it Edward Snowden? I forget his first name, but Snowden, yeah. Apparently, if you saw like the real military operations, it was not nearly this high tech. Up, well, not this guy, but the other guy, right there in the middle, the bald guy, is James Tolken. And then right there in the middle, the bald guy, James Tolkien. He was the principal in Back to the Future. He was a cop in the Dolph Lundgren film Masters of the Universe. Back to the Future kept calling people slackers. He was in Top Gun. Good character actor. It was always nice to see him in a movie. James Tolkien. Again, this definitely has a lot of good actors. Barry Corbin, Dabney Coleman, James Tolkien, etc. I don't know, like, maybe you're normally an idiot. To do it. Well, then let me do it. Shut up and let me do it. Get out of my face and let me do it. That one guy looks like the Micro Machines guy. Man, back in the day when you just have people smoking cigarettes in movies, nowadays it's much rarer thing. Much rarer thing. Okay, here's the thing. If you're thinking this guy is hired by the Russians, would you want to lead him around to see what everything looks like in case he somehow escaped? And would you want him to see how their operation looks? Unless he doesn't think he's it. So again, if he thought he was a Russian, why would he show him around the whole damn place? Let me show you what it all fucking looks like in case you are a spy for Russia, and then you now know what the fuck everything looks like. But I mean, this was definitely in the vein of the Cold War. Not the vein, it was in the middle of the Cold War against the Russians. Worried that they would come over here and be spies and espionage and screw over. And then it was around the time Rambo 3 came out in 1988 where Tear Down the Wall, Gorbachev, the president and Gorbachev hugging and kiss each other on the cheek. Everything seemed fine with the Russians. Now it's like right back to where it was, where now it's us versus Russia. I mean, it's funny how the more things change, the more they stay the same. Go figure. Go fucking figure. That's just how it goes. Just the way the cookie crumbles. I forget that guy's name, but I know I've seen him before and stuff as well. That's another thing. If they think this guy, if they have a notion that he's a spy, why would they leave him alone without a guard? Again, okay, maybe they don't think, but if there's a hint, if there's an idea, if there's maybe a possibility, why would they leave him alone? Again, why would you not have a guard there? Why? Is it live or is it Memorex? Classified address, huh? Again, it's like, okay, we think this guy's a potential Russian spy. We're going to fucking yeah, that's a good question. What the hell is he doing here anyway? Like, Barry Corbin asked a good question. Because Dabney Coleman fucking led him through the war room to his computer, left him alone at his computer. If there was like, now if we found out like Dabney Coleman was like, well, I knew he wasn't really a spy. I want to see what he wanted to do. And well, thanks to him, maybe find out, the guy's address or something. I mean, this is a very stupid thing. I said, well, he needs to talk to the computer, but how do we do that when everyone's around? Just leave him by himself. Even though they think he's a Russian spy and they're going to arrest him for espionage. Then why the fuck did you leave him in a room by himself? With a computer, by the way. I mean, no movie is perfect. No movie is perfect. It is what it is. Still a fun film, entertaining film, but again, no such thing as a perfect movie. Now he's with MacGyver. But thank God I was able to find all this shit. On the tape recorder. On this wire. That's very weird that you just play the sound and it opens the door. But I don't get how the sound of the like you wouldn't still want to need to push the buttons, but somehow the sound of it does. What if I hummed it? I know it's something to do with the wires are linked to the thing, but I'm like, what? Okay, I see the wires are linked to the thing, but it's like, still. It's like, what? Either, I guess you just either go with it or you don't. It's like, okay. But thank God that was there. I don't know if these buildings have these big old doors you could open to get to places like this. I don't know. I don't know. It does in this movie. God, can you imagine being the guy that had to change the light bulbs in this thing? Oh, gotta sneak in, gotta change this light bulb. Gotta change that light bulb. And that's the thing with movies, that you have these air shafts that, just big enough for a human to go through. Whether it be in Die Hard, whether it be in this movie, there's a lot of movies where you like the air shafts are so big a human can just go through. Just aliens. A lot of movies have that. But it's like, just to be fair, I've never really been through a real air shaft. Oh, there you go. So that's why they set up the tour. They set up the tour so he can just be with the group and be fine. I think this guy would... If this is who I think it is, I think he's in the film Dolls. That guy there that grabbed Matthew Broderick on the shoulder. I think that's the guy who was starring Dolls. He's like, the killer Dolls. He's the good guy who befriends the little kid. And he's like a big kid himself. I would say he's like one of the two leads. Like him and the little kid. Whopper's like farting. Because that's the music, of course. Now, one of the reasons they mention Whopper is just that make you think of the, just the Whopper, the sandwich. What a Whopper! It's a Whopper of a problem. So I want to see real quick the cast again. I want to see that if that was right with that guy. Just want to double check. Stephen Lee. Yep, that was him, Stephen Lee. Which sadly he passed away in 2014. So yeah, Stephen Lee, this was his first film. He played the lead guy, Ralph, in Dolls. He was the Big Bopper in La Bamba. He was the dirty cop Duffy in RoboCop 2. I think, was it the arcade RoboCop beat the shit out of him? But he was in RoboCop 2. Oh, he was one of the characters in Carnosaur 3. I forgot about that. Prehysteria, man, that's a film I have not seen since I was a kid. Prehysteria was the full moon films. They were supposed to have this kid line of movies. Austin O'Brien from Last Action Hero, the kid from Last Action Hero, was the star. It's about dinosaurs are like this big. Like I said, I haven't seen that since I was a kid. The last stuff he did was like TV work. So, the top 10 highest grossing films in 1983. Number 10, Risky Business with Tom Cruise. Number 9, Mr. Mom. Number 8, Staying Alive, the John Travolta sequel to Saturday Night Fever. Number 7, Sudden Impact, the Clint Eastwood film. Number 6, Octopussy, James Bond film. Number 5, WarGames. Number 4, Trading Places with Eddie Murphy. Number 3, Flashdance. Number 2, Terms of Endearment. And number 1, Return of the Jedi. That really shows a difference to how films are nowadays. Because look at that. Okay, number 1, Return of the Jedi, which is the end of a trilogy. But you have a drama, Terms of Endearment. You have a dance movie, Flashdance. A comedy, Trading Places. This is, how do you call it? What do you call it? A thriller? Octopussy, an action film. James Bond. Sudden Impact, a sequel. Sequel, Staying Alive. Mr. Mom, a comedy. Risky Business. Just so different from the films of today. It'd just be like comic book films and remakes. Now we know. I know there was a video game many. Do I have it here, I wonder? Probably don't. Let me double check. There was a video game called WarGames. Let's see if I still have it. Let's see. For PlayStation 1, let's see, Die Hard, Marvel Superheroes, Soviet Strike, Game Shark, Dark Trilogy, Resident Evil 3. No, I don't. Okay. I was thinking that maybe I had that. Oh, yep, I do. It's right here. So, first I'm going to put some of this stuff in here, because why not? Well, put these in over here. I'll put that in there. If I just put these in here, why not? Put them away instead of being out here. But WarGames, DEFCON 1. Now, the only two things, well, there's three things that makes this connected to this film. Number one, it's released by MGM, just like this was released by MGM. Number two, the title, WarGames, which is similar to how you have in the movie WarGames. And number three, you do hear that voice. Shall we play a game? But the rest of it is just, it's not even like America and Russia. It's kind of, well, it's NORAD. Well, it's the Whopper. You can't say, but the Whopper is the enemy. The Whopper has controlled, they have like their own army of machinery, artillery, weaponry, and firepower. And so you are the military, NORAD. Well, you could control either. You could either control the Whopper and be the bad guys, or you could be NORAD and be the good guys. And depending on which one you are, you attack and destroy the others. So this is a fun game. I remember having, I do like this game quite a bit. This is a game I like to play on the channel one day, WarGames. But yeah, I do remember liking this game. At times it can be pretty, like the beginning levels are easy, as it's supposed to be. But yeah, this is a fun game. Very fun game. No one ever talks about this. But this I mean, I don't have the time. Otherwise, I play this because, but I have a lot of stuff to get to. But that, again, it's loosely based on that. Like I said, you got the NORAD, you got the Whopper, the computer, MGM, all that stuff. So it's just very weird that they made that game like so many years later. I love to hear the stories to the making of that game, like what brought about that game being made. I wonder if they mention this. No, they don't. Yeah, have it right here. It was on PC as well as PlayStation. Loosely based on the movie, yes, loosely based. The game takes place 20 years after the film. Whopper attempts to exterminate humanity and NORAD tries to stop it. During a mission, the player takes control of a vehicle and can change the controls of any vehicle the team has. While NORAD has heavily armored and armed tanks and aircraft, Whopper possesses exotically futuristic mechs and hovercraft. Vehicles can recharge ammo by obtaining powers. The player can command their team to send resupply on ammo, repair damaged units, attack, or follow the player's main vehicle. I mean, yeah, you'd call it a strategy game, or you a lot of times you just pick one vehicle, and if you're good enough, you just go in and wipe everything out, and if that gets destroyed, you use the other vehicle. All those strategies that if you get rid of your good ones, and you only left with like a little Jeep or something, then you're screwed. Because it didn't use a tile system, instead allowing troops to be placed and moved freely across the landscape. It's a great benefit to the player. The programming nightmares it raises have given us more than one sleepless night over the last few months. It got 1.5 out of 5 from Computer Gaming World, 2.5 out of 5 from GamePro, a C plus from Game Revolution, 7 out of 10 on IGN. I guess the PlayStation got better reviews than the PC version. Now, I guess there were other games as well. One was for the ColecoVision in 1983, imported to the Atari 8-bit computer and Commodore 64 in 1984. It played like the U.S. had to be defended from a Soviet strike by placing bases and weapons at strategic points. A game inspired by the film called Computer War from Thorn EMI, in which the player must track and shoot down intercontinental ballistic missiles, as well as crack the computer code, was released for the Atari 8-bit and the VIC-20 in 1984. The same year, Australian developer GameWorks released Thermonuclear WarGames, an illustrated text adventure in which the player must stop a NORAD computer called Mazda from initiating World War III. There was an interactive media reboot of WarGames announced in 2015. The project was described as an audience-driven story experience with anticipated launch in 2016. Sam Barlow, which I guess worked on Silent Hill Origins and Silent Hill Shattered Memories, was going to be a part of it. The 6-episode series was released in March 2018. I've never even heard of that. And WarGames The Dead Code, November 2006. Well, so that was before Eidolon Eye, because Eidolon Eye was 2008. Well, it came out in 2008, I think that's the same year as Eidolon Eye. But yeah, November 2006, pre-production began on a sequel titled WarGames The Dead Code. Code, not cold. Dead Code. Stuart Dillard. Isn't that the guy who did Ninja Turtles 3? Yes, it is. Gosh, I forgot about that. A hacker named Will facing off with a government supercomputer called Ripley. What, Ellen Ripley? It was released along with the 25th anniversary edition of DVD of WarGames. To promote the sequel, the original film returned to selected theaters as a one-night only 25th anniversary event on July 24th, 2008. So, the dead code. Look at that. That tells you. Yeah, I just remember not liking this at all. There was no charm like this film. The characters were not nearly as developed. Like this whole bit with Falcon, I should say. Not Falcon. Falcon Punch. Falcon and Matthew Broderick and stuff. So the character Stephen Falcon returns in the sequel. Like I said, I don't remember a damn thing about the sequel. Not a damn thing. Claudia Black, who I remember from Farscape as Aaron Soon, she voiced that computer. Matt Lanter, Amanda Walsh. The couple is captured and taken to the room where Ripley is stored, where they discover that Falcon has transferred Whopper's program to them. They use Whopper and internet users to stage another denial of service attack. Whopper can test Ripley, playing through two nuclear test scenarios that result in total annihilation. Having learned the concept of futility, Ripley starts responding after the scenario is played out. So there you go. If I could give him shit for not being able to swim. Well, I mean, yeah, you accidentally started the end of the world, but guess, well, I guess it can't be worse. Never mind. Well, you can learn how to have sex and swim. You might have the motion of swimming. Depends how much she leaks. Depends on what she gets. Maybe you will be swimming. I got the subtitles on, so it's fine. Yeah, they're gonna get chased by the helicopter here. See, I'm kind of curious how a younger person would view this film today, because when you watch the film, there's not really action sequences. I mean, if you think about it, there's not really. I think the sequel try to put that in where there's more like car chases and stuff of that nature, of that thriller aspect, and yeah, I heard that too, is people doing stuff outside. But yeah, I don't think. Yeah, I wonder if people would be like worried. Like, if would younger people be bored from this film? That's what I'm wondering. Would a younger person see this film and go, "This is boring"? Because they'd be like, "Well, where's the action? Where's the excitement? Where's the explosions? Where's the special effects?" It's really just about the characters and the story, and that's what makes it work. You know, it's would I call this a favorite movie of mine? Like favorite? No. I wouldn't say, "Oh yeah, this is my top 10 favorite film of all time." Of the year? Maybe. I'm trying to think of 1983. Uncommon Valor is my favorite film of 1983. Very underrated film. I'd have to look. Like, Of Unknown Origin would be on there. This might be on there. I mean, I'd have to look at a list, but could you imagine if it ended where the world did get destroyed? Well, if you want to see that, there's a, well, I guess well, that'd be I would want to say a movie, but I guess it'd be spoiling that film. So, okay, if you don't want any film spoiled, wait until I put my hand down. Okay? 3, 2, 1. There's a film called Miracle Mile, which I think is a pretty good film, where a guy goes on a date with a girl and going to see her, more on a date, but then something happens and he oversleeps, his clock gets screwed up, and then it's a search for this girl throughout this weird night with these kooky characters, and then he gets this phone call where the guy says, they did it, we got this much time, they actually did it. Pretty much saying that in this amount of time, the missiles are going to hit the U.S. and vice versa. So then the rest of the film, you're wondering, was this a hoax? Was this a crazy person? Or was this for real? And you don't find out till the end, in which, yes, it was real. It was absolutely real. God, these guys can't fucking drive for shit. How the fuck did they crash? I mean, it's not like there's cars that they gotta swerve in and out. I know they're trying to go fast, but come on now. What the fuck? Those are thick ass doors. God damn. Thick as shit. I guess they should be. They better be. get this to here since we're getting to the end of this. I like that line. You're listening to a machine. Do yourself a favor or do us all a favor and don't act like one. So I don't know if I want to put my finger there because what if you sneeze? Can you imagine like the guy puts the finger there and goes, "Phew." It's like, "Phew, shit." But I mean, this is actually a smart idea to talk to the person, and if they're still in contact after the blast, he's like, well, wait a minute. Yeah, I'm still in contact with them. Stop inching your finger, man. And that delay, too. Makes me wonder why. That damn southern guy, golly gee whiz, we got Gomer Pyle there. Gomer Pyle was fine. Gomer Pyle's doing okay. Up. We're not quite there. That's why he's not celebrating, because he knows. Falcon knows. Do you want to call him Falcon? Falcon. He knows. He knows what's up. Oh shit. He knows. He knows. What are you doing, Joshua? Yep. He's trying to break the code. Trying to break the code. Yepper. Yepper. You don't want to lose. You don't stop. The game ain't done yet, bitch. I love Barry Corbin. Under careful consideration, I think your system sucks. Love that. See, that's the thing, though. See, if you had humans, you could have stopped it and you'd be fine, but that's why you should not put your faith into a computer. See, that's what I mean. Like Barry Corbin, I piss out the spark blood. It felt like, again, good actors and characters. Of course, the game will be tit-tat-toe. Sorry, I'm just into it because I think, as simple as it is, like it gets you riveted and like what's going to happen next and how this all comes about and how your character. See, it's trying to prove the futility of always ending with a tie and nobody wins. I thought this was an interesting way of getting to your conclusion. Because again, if you could play tit-tat-toe, if you could play tit-tat-toe the right way, it will always be a stalemate. If you know what you're doing, if you play it as smart as possible, it will always be. Because it cannot fathom it. But it's too busy looking at this and going, well, wait a minute, what about this thing? Good editing too. That really gets you into it. Ratchets up the editing, the stuff here. Of course, the idea is no matter what, we'd all lose because we'd all die, and there is no winner. Winner none, exactly. So I like that. I like the connection between the tit-tat-toe and this, is that it's futile. In a nuclear war, there would be no winners at all. There would never be a winner. So he's using all the ways. Which means if it found one way that could do it, it would do it, but it's a good visual too to see all these different screens and have it ratchet up faster and faster. Also, I liked it where it gives Matthew Broderick's character a purpose. Like he accidentally started, but to have it be where he's able to figure out, he's able to rectify and save the day, to give him a purpose. It's nice to see, so he doesn't feel like he's just completely fucking useless. And also, that later on, this is trouble and this was chaos, but to realize this is why you cannot have a computer. Because what if it was an enemy that hacked into this? What if it was a Russian? What if it was something awful that hacked into this? Someone who's a bad guy, a villain. They could have easily done this and be fine and dandy. And things would have been up shit creek without a paddle. So that's why it's best to leave it to human hands. I like that. Between Broderick and Dabney, I thought that was nice. Nice little moment. And there you go. I mean, kind of like, what was that Roger Corman would say? When the monster is dead, the movie's over. Here, when it's been defeated, it's over. Yeah, I could see maybe if you did, well, I don't remember how they did in the WarGames 2, because I don't even remember that film. But I could see, like, if this was a modern film, you would have a little bit of, does Falcon go back into isolation, or does he join, you know, like, what happens with his character, his parents? I mean, obviously, Matthew Broderick's parents would have to find out something about this, so how does that all work out? Does Matthew Broderick's character go to some kind of school? Does he become an intern? Like, what happens afterward? But I guess for here, it's like, it's not needed. Like, that was the story. Room for celebration. The movie's over, and there you go. So, still a good film. WarGames. Yeah, there's some parts in the bit where they leave him alone. You know, maybe some weird bits of logic, but overall, it's fun for what it needs to be. It's fun for what it needed to utilize and partake in. So, that was still fun. Still fun to see. Still fun to get into, so to speak. So with that said, thanks for watching. Take care. Thanks, Jonathan, once again for the request. Sorry it took a bit, but hopefully it was worth it. John Badham, good director. I would say, yeah, I'll put him in the list of underrated directors because no one really talks about the guy, but he did a lot of good work, especially in the 80s. I mean, to give us WarGames and Blue Thunder and Short Circuit and Stakeout, let alone before all that, Saturday Night Fever in the 70s, The Hard Way in the 90s, pretty damn good, you know. Should definitely be given his time to shine, you know, and recognition. With that said, thanks for watching, take care, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye for now.